Hello again, vinyl community, Matt here, and today I have another contest video. So it's kind of funny. In my my last contest video, which was I don't know, a week ago, I said that I don't usually do these, but I made an exception that time because that contest was for Jeff Kempin, and Jeff's a great guy, and it's going to be the same thing for this video. So this video is for Andy Borders, aka Andy's Vinyl Den. Same thing. Andy's a great guy. You know, I would consider him a friend, and he's also the author, I guess would be the right word, of Tales from the Dead Wax, which is an awesome VC related comic book that Andy just put out in the last week or two. It's just been released. This is the first issue, and I know he's working on another issue probably as I speak. And I think he does have a few copies left, but they're selling out fast. So please check out his channel. You can go on Facebook and look up Tales from the Dead Wax and place an order. It's $4 plus shipping. I mean, you can't go wrong for that. And it's got some really great stories in here. The artwork is fantastic. So that's kind of a shameless plug for Andy right there. That's a freebie. No, I'm just kidding. But so Andy just reached 777 subscribers, 777. And the reason he started this contest was because his birthday is on 7/7/70. I think I got that right, July 7th, 1970. And so, you know, the number in some sense has a special meaning for him. So congratulations on the subscribers, Andy. I saw that you picked up a few more already just in the last day or so. Very well deserved. I don't doubt that you picked up quite a few because of Tales from the Dead Wax, which is just fantastic again. But Andy's contest was to essentially make a mixtape of sorts with 10 of our favorite songs from any genre, or 10 songs that we feel best represent a genre. So I don't think he wants us to literally make a mixtape, although, you know, I'm not averse to doing that. You guys know I like my cassettes. I do have a little bit of a stash here. This is my main blank tape stash right here, and it's about 6 or 7 tapes deep, and there's quite a few in here, and I can barely lift it up. And yeah, we got everything in here, from those metal tapes that I got a couple of months ago to the sort of more bog standard TDK D tapes, etc., etc. But we're not really here to talk about tapes. That was just kind of a nice way for Andy to frame his contest, was to think of it like a mixtape. So the genre I am picking for my 10 songs is alternative 80s. I nearly went with Britpop, but I changed my mind at the last second. So alternative 80s, and I am actually going to be making a CD mix of this soon anyway, so it's kind of a nice coincidence. So I have picked out a little selection. We've got 10 albums, well, 10 records. They're not all albums. We've got 1 or 2 12-inch records in here. We've got a couple of 7-inch records, and then albums making up the rest. And I don't remember for sure, sorry Andy, if every entry in the 10 had to be vinyl, but they are all vinyl, so I guess it doesn't matter. So got my little stack here, and yeah, so let's define alternative 80s to start with. So for me, they are either songs or possibly artists that are a little out of the mainstream. That's not to say that none of these songs were hits. In fact, quite a few of them were big hits. But they're songs that you would not normally find on an 80s collection, like on a compilation album. They're just a little bit out there. They're a little too offbeat for most people's taste, for the average consumer's taste. You know, the average person who goes and buys an 80s compilation, well, they're looking for Aha, they're looking for, depending how cheesy they want to get, they're looking for Rick Astley or Bananarama, or, you know, the big hits from the 80s. So I picked some that were either minor hits, or at least the style of music is really not what you immediately identify when you think of 80s music. So alternative 80s, let's start. Now there is a song that I've been obsessed with the last 2 or 3 weeks, and so I bought the album that it's on, and the album is World Party. I can back that up a little bit. Private Revolution. There we go. And the song is Ship of Fools. Now, Vincent M., who is a subscriber to my channel, very kindly sent me some cassettes, and among those cassettes was a Greenpeace album from, I think it's from 89 or something, or 91, or the very late 80s or very early 90s. And one song on that was Ship of Fools by World Party, and I was just blown away by it. I knew of World Party, only knew 1 or 2 of their songs. I did not know that one, and it's absolutely fantastic. I would barely even know how to categorize it. I guess it's it's definitely alternative, alt pop maybe, alternative pop. I don't know. That's really doing it justice. So it's almost an alt rock track in some ways. Has a very unusual arrangement, a very unusual structure to the song. The chords are very unusual too, and the whole build up to the chorus is absolutely amazing. So that's the first one, World Party, Private Revolution. I apologize for any glare that we're getting that I can see, unfortunately, but anyways, because it's still got shrink on it. Track number 2 on our mixtape. Well, I'll show you the album first, and that is, wait for it, Psychedelic Furs, right here. Mirror Moves. Okay. Sorry for the for the delay. I was fumbling with the record. So Psychedelic Furs, Mirror Moves, and the song is The Ghost in You. One of my favorite 80s tracks. Psychedelic Furs were definitely kind of out there, a little alternative for sure. New wave, yeah. So already that's is a genre that you associate with the 80s, sure, particularly the early 80s, but I mean, it wasn't as popular as, you know, straight up pop music, for example. So yeah, The Ghost in You is just a wonderful track. It's very melodic, which, you know, not all new wave songs were quite as melodic as that. And the album it's a good album too, but yeah, that song, The Ghost in You, is just absolutely terrific. This album's from 84, I think. Yeah, 84. So that's track number 2, Psychedelic Furs. Now, track number 3, we're going to switch a little bit to a 12-inch single right here, and that is Dear God by Ecstasy. Alt rock, essentially. Ecstasy were a I know that they're a particular favorite of James Griffiths, at least I think they are. And yeah, Dear God's probably my favorite song of theirs. It's definitely an anti-religious song, a little bit of a pushback against religion. So, you know, some people may not like that or may take offense, but it is a good track. It really is. I found this. You can still see the price sticker on it for $1 at a record store, which I was thrilled with. This was maybe a year and a half ago, and I didn't know this. I've just noticed that it was produced by Todd Rundgren. Well, there you go. You learn something every day. So, Ecstasy, Dear God. It's a very I say that Ecstasy were sort of an alt rock band, which is true, but Dear God, although you would, yeah, I'd say it's an alt rock song, but it's very acoustic, a very acoustic sounding song. It's fairly minimalist. All right, track number 4. Now this one, this is probably the first of the more popular ones that I'm going to show, but it's a great track. I had to show this. And this is the album that I'm showing, but the title track is the one that we're talking about. TalkTalk, It's My Life. Now, don't let anybody tell you that, who was it? No Doubt or somebody did a version of this. Actually, it's an okay version, but this is where it's at, the original and best. This is just a, yeah, what can you say about it? It's again, very new wave for sure. But I love the album artwork too. Check that out. Beautiful. I think I got this from the same record store that I got Ecstasy at, not at the same time, and it was cheap. It's like $5. You try and find this for $5 on eBay. Doubt it's gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, what a great track. I love actually I was going to say I love the verses more than the chorus. That's not necessarily true, but the verses are fantastic for this. You know, you don't always get that with every track. A lot of tracks you're like, oh, okay, let's get through the verse, let's get to the good stuff, the chorus. But I've always liked the verses on It's My Life. So that is our, what is that, 4th entry, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Okay, number 5 is Till Tuesday, Voices Carry. Again, this is a very sort of new wavy song. This is from '85, so a little bit more towards the tail end of new wave, but still, this is a great track. Well, this is the album. I got this out of Goodwill. Somebody dumped off a bunch of '80s stuff. This is probably a year to a year and a half ago, and I snapped up, I don't know, 20 albums or something. This is one of them. Still in the shrink, still with the hype sticker. And yeah, Voices Carry. It's a very unusual song. It's a song that if you think you don't know it, you might do if you listen to it. You might do. It wasn't a massive hit. Till Tuesday, it's certainly in the UK where I grew up. Till Tuesday were not particularly big in England, but yeah, well, that's a great new wave track. Next up, we have, now this may be, I'm just checking, this is arguably the most popular song. Maybe there's one other one in terms of chart success, but I would still consider it fitting for my alternative 80s category, and that is Jan Hammer Crockett's Theme. Now this is the album that it's from, which is Escape from Television. I picked this up at a Goodwill, one of the very first albums I ever bought when I started dipping my toes getting back into vinyl, which was probably around a decade ago. I didn't fully get back into it until around two and a bit years ago, two years and a few months. But when I first started getting back into it a little bit, dipping my toes in the water, I did pick this up from a Goodwill, still in the shrink, still with the hype sticker, and it's just a classic synth pop instrumental, no words, and of course it's from the Miami Vice TV show, and just a wonderful track. It really is, from 1987. I remember it's a big hit in the UK. Got to like number 2 or 3, I think, something like that. But yeah, I had to put that in there. All right, next up we have another 12-inch single, When in Rome, The Promise. The camera will focus, kind of, sort of. This is one of my favorite 80s tracks. It's this funny sort of track because it's essentially new wave. Sounds new wave to me. But it came out in 1988, so that's really quite a little bit after new wave was sort of dead, quote unquote. I also have the 7-inch single of this, but I found this in a pawn shop. That's P-A-W-N. My British accent, I know, it makes it sound like something else. I think it was like a 2 for $5 deal. I'm pretty sure I got this along with the Spandau Ballet True album. I think I got them both at the same time. But anyway, this is just a terrific song. I love pairing this with I Promise Myself by Nick Cayman, which is actually a pop song from 1990, but the two flowed together so well. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, this is just another one of those songs that it wasn't a massive hit, but another one that you probably heard like on the radio. You know, if you were to play it, maybe, oh, okay, that sounds familiar. So yeah, still in the shrink, still with a hype sticker, very nice. And yeah, again, to me this is very alternative 80s, just because it is really more new wave, which is quite unusual by 1988. All right, we got 3 left to go. Next up, we have another 12-inch single, A little bit of a story behind this one. This is Visitors by Kodo. In my opinion, this is one of the best instrumental synth pop records of all time. It's absolutely amazing. It's from 1985. This is a German copy, and like I said, there's a little bit of a story here. So I ordered this from, I think it was Discogs, and this was around it's over a year ago, late 2016, I think. And it never turned up. The seller said he shipped it, but there was no tracking number, I don't think, because it was international. It was coming from Germany. And you know, it went on for like close to 2 months, and finally I contacted the seller again and said, you know, it hasn't come, so you know, what do you want to do? And he gave me a refund. It kind of sucked for him, so he's out money. Well, he's out a record, which is equivalent to money, you know. And I get my money back. Well, literally, it's like the next day or 2 days later, it suddenly showed up out of the blue. So I gave him, I PayPal'd him back the money. But yeah, it's sort of almost turned into a little bit of a quest to get hold of this. But this is, yeah, an amazing synth pop song. Yeah, I'm sure it's on YouTube. Go ahead and check it out if you want to. In fact, I would be pretty sure it is, because I think I looked up the copyright for this once, because I might use it in a video. And well, there's no claim on it. Of course, it is still copyrighted, so I don't know. But yeah, it's again fully instrumental, like Crockett's Theme by Jan Hammer. But while Crockett's Theme is a very slow, melodic, lulling sort of song, Visitors is anything but. It's a much more up tempo. It has a lot of different shifts actually in the tune, and actually also in the tempo somewhat. You check it out, you'll see what I mean. It's a great track. Okay, finally we're going to finish with a couple of 7-inch singles. The first up is Depeche Mode, People Are People. Now, this is the other song that I referred to that possibly you could argue was more popular than Crockett's Theme. It's from 1984, and it's maybe not my favorite Depeche Mode song, but it's up there. Be my top 5 for sure. Along with, you know, of course, Just Can't Get Enough. I also really like See You. It's a very unusual song, but yeah, this would definitely be up there. It's yeah, probably the most mainstream of the songs that I've shown, but I would still, again, if you were to buy an 80s compilation album, I don't think most of them would include Depeche Mode. I really don't. They're just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit, just a tiny bit too far out there to be fully mainstream, in my opinion. So that's song number 9. Song number 10, the last one, is True Faith by New Order. I don't tend to fawn over New Order quite as much as some people do. This is easily my favorite track of theirs. Yeah, Bizarre Love Triangle would probably be number 2, but like, you know, Blue Monday, it's a decent track. I never, you know, some people rate it as like the best song of the 80s. I never bought into all that, but you know, it's all a matter of taste. We all have different musical opinions. But yeah, this came out in 1987. It's on the Substance album, and it's actually co-written by Stephen Hague, very well-known producer. I think he is, right? Somebody can correct me. I think he is. And this was really a song, I remember this being in the charts in 87 when I was about 8 years old. I think it was somewhere over the summer of that year, because I remember it being on the radio, and I just loved the track. It's just gorgeous. The you know, New Order songs, you can kind of categorize a little bit differently. They sort of slip into subgenres. Blue Monday is sort of part synth pop with some new wave elements, kind of, but whereas True Faith is much more of almost a a pop rock song, but it's fairly synth heavy. Well, it is very synth heavy. So I don't really know where to place it. I would kind of put it more towards pop rock. Now, this was a pretty big hit in the UK. I think it was a top 10 hit, I'm pretty sure. But alternative 80s, you've got to put New Order in there, or Joy Division, or both. But since I don't have any Joy Division on vinyl, then New Order is what we've got. But yeah, I just remember this being in the charts, and I actually prefer the 94 remix to this. I think it's tighter. It's more tightly produced, particularly when it comes to the chorus. Once you've listened to the 94 version, the 87 version, the chorus is a little more jarring. It doesn't flow, like it doesn't go where you think it should, in terms of rhyming. But it's still a great track. I mean, it really is. Yeah. So that is my mixtape of alternative 80s tracks. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Congrats again, Andy, on the 777 subscribers. I'm sure that some of the VCers who are more into, like, I don't know, like death metal or something. This is probably going to be kind of a cliche, but maybe they celebrated 666 subscribers. I don't know, but 777. That's a very cool number. It's like a slot machine, right? 777, and yeah, again, very well deserved. That number's only going to go up, not only because of the good videos that you're putting out, the great content, but a certain comic book. I think this is going to get bigger. I do. And I think you said you printed 250 or 300, somewhere around there, right? I won't be surprised if the next issue, or certainly in issues to come, that you're going to have a harder time keeping up with demand. And it sounds like the demand was already good. You already sold most of the initial run. But I really think, this is such a great product, looking at it from kind of a marketing perspective, that I really think that this, the next issue, or in 2 or 3 issues time, I won't be surprised if you're having to print double to kind of keep up with demand. I really won't. So very well deserved again, all the subscribers, Andy, and thank you guys as always for watching, and until next time, bye bye.